Tuladat Yeshu. Tuladat Yeshu. One day, Yeshu, whom they call Jesus, walked in front of the sages with his head uncovered, showing shameful disrespect. At this, the discussion arose as to whether this behavior did not truly indicate that Yeshu was an illegitimate child and the son of an Adah. An illegitimate child they call Christ in the Talmud. Yeah. See how they want to put that baby mama's claim and she's not clean and all that? That's that whole ideology they've been pushing in the Christian church and have us take it on as doctrine. A mother without a father, all of that. A child without a father, with a mother by themselves being raised and being honored as both parents. That whole ideology is in disdain and disrespect of black men. More.
Let me say this. It goes even more disturbing than that. When you read the one before, obviously we don't have time, but you brothers and sisters need to get into the academy to get this information. When you read the one we read previously all the way through, they claim that because she was on her time of the month, her husband did not lay with her, so she decided to lay with another man.
Oh, let's read that. Let's read that, Elder Lawyer. Maybe I skipped over it. I apologize.
Yeah, so that's why they say he's illegitimate. He's the child of adultery, of an adulterous relationship.
Oh, what they're saying, I skipped that, Elder Lawyer. Thank you. It says, when I entered the bridal chamber, I was Nadah, and my husband kept away from me. But my best man had intercourse with me, and his son was born to me. Consequently, the child was both a bastard and a son of Nadah. Did anyone know that these actual words are in the Talmud? So we're going to get in front of some negative ideology, and I'm just reading the book, folks. Okay, I have records of all the Talmuds on my computer at the church. And I'm talking about the authentic old ones. I have it on my computer. All the Talmud. And there's some disturbing things that's within those records.
I went to the public library, found the volumes of the Babylonian Talmud that they had there, opened them up, and found this irrefutable, undeniable proof that the Talmud, the Jewish holy book, condones and encourages pedophilia. Kethabeth 11b says, when a grown-up man has intercourse with a little girl, it is nothing, for when the girl is less than this, it is as if one puts the finger into the eye. Sanhedrin 55b says, come and hear, a maiden aged 3 years and a day may be acquired in marriage by coition, and if her deceased husband's brother cohabits with her, she becomes his. Sanhedrin 69a says, a maiden aged 3 years and a day may be acquired in marriage by coition. Coition means sexual intercourse. Yebamot 60b says, a proselyte who is under the age of 3 years and 1 day is permitted to marry a priest, for it is said, but all the women children that have not known man by lying with him keep alive for yourselves. So there you have it. You can go to the library and do the same thing I did. The real question is, though, what are you going to do about it?
Concerning not just Christ, but how Goy or Gentiles are viewed by their hierarchy and how blacks are viewed by them within their Talmudic records. Suppose I was reading that out of the Bible concerning them and people they revere and respect. It would be an uproar. And I think, Elder Lawyer, what I'm saying, I think, let me tell you, I'm looking at this. Is not what I've just read right now way worse than a tweet? And I don't even want to talk about what they say about black people in the Talmud. And see, listen, I have interviews, and I'm not saying all of them, and I will never go that way. But I've had interview with rabbis, and rabbis would say, well, we don't really believe the Bible as you say per se. We deal with the oral. We deal with the oral understanding through our rabbis. And we may understand the Bible a little different than you. And we have other records like the Talmud. And they'll look at me when I say the Talmud as if I'm supposed to say, oh, okay, because you're dealing with another record that we're not taught within our churches. Oh, okay, maybe you have some other records, whatever the case, that I must respect on the same level as the Bible to give you credible reason to utilize the Bible above how we learn and utilize it. That's what they expect us to. But now, if they're viewing our Torah through that, what I've just read, and when they read the Torah, they're seeing something different with Christ. To why he's illegitimate and no one should listen to him. And it's based on the fact that, at the bridal chamber, the best man came in and slept with Mary. Okay? That's disheartening. When I read, and not only that, folks, that's the tip of the iceberg. There's worse things than that in it.
Judaism. And as punishment for his crimes, he is now in hell, burning in fiery excrement, and he shall so be forever and ever.
They hate Jesus Christ. They hate the name. So I think it's because they are children of the devil, not children of God. And therefore the devil, look at the hatred he has for Christ. So what do you think his children are going to have?
But you want to get in front of the ideology that black men may get doing some research on the history of us being Hebrews? That's the ideology you would like to stop and that you would cut off finances and everything for and have it where the man cannot support his own family? That's the ideology you get in front of? Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Go on. What do you have to say on that?
Yeah, well, I think that it's a two-way street that can't be avoided. Us finding out who we are by default leads us to ask questions. If we are this, then who are you? And I think that's a question that it's a rabbit hole that goes very deep. And if we really get into that discussion, then it engender a lot of questions. And
Hold on, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, so it'll engender a lot of questions, but not only will it engender questions, also it will begin to disrupt. It's one thing it coming from us. Again, we have reached quite a few people during the time of this ministry.
Yeah.
You understand? But it's different when it's coming from platforms of people who have touched millions through sports, through music, then sold sneakers, then made movies, it's very different. These ideas coming from people from that platform who in a second, from a tweet, from a comment, from a 10-second video or a clip or an interview, can reach millions of people across the world with this idea. And again, that is very alarming because it causes a paradigm shift. We know that according to the scriptures, it tells us that what? When Israel fell, the nations began sending gifts one to another. They started celebrating. They started capitalizing on the fall of the people of God. But we see that at the end, as the Spirit of God is now coming upon this people who have been lost, it tells us what? That this people began to stand up as an exceeding great army, and that all the nations began to be afraid of this army.
Yeah.
Now, we're not saying that, listen, I want to make this very clear. We're not saying that we're an army or anything of that nature. Everything that we're talking about is biblical prophecy as far as what God would do with raising up his people.
Yeah.
But just showing you that these are the ideas that are in the minds of the nations when they see these types of conversations being had, these types of things being just simply alluded to. Again, the man did not say anything. He just pointed to a documentary, just pointed to a link.
Yeah.
You understand? So that in itself shows you the fear of the nations when it comes to this information being out there, and specifically being out there or going out there to the masses.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking through this document, Elder Lawyer. What a great document. I mean, it actually reveals everything that's going on when it comes to the ideology that's pushed, quietly under that religion. I mean, I'm looking at it, and that, outright in the Sanhedrin 67a:12, it says out there, you can look at it. It says that, oh my goodness, that Mary, the mother of Christ, was prostitute in Sanhedrin 106a and 17. It goes into him being an idolater in the Talmud. So we need to ask these questions. How is some of this ideology affecting how you operate in society when it comes to your interaction with Christians? If this is what you believe concerning Christ, could that go into your I would say interactions with them, the societal interactions with them? If you believe that the person that they honor came into the earth this way, is that the undertones on how you actually interact with these people in business and otherwise? And I don't even want to go into what it says about black people in the Talmud, folks. It's horrendous. But yet no one is calling them on the carpet for that. Now, there's not too much I can go, because I'm going to save a lot of this for the academy. I'm looking at it. There's so much we didn't go into with this. So I'm going to talk about that in the academy of, the Antichrist type deal that comes with what they believe when it comes to the Talmud in particular. All right. And I don't believe that a lot of them actually read the Talmud. That's more the authoritative side of things. But suppose the children are learning from rabbis who believe this. The ideology is embedded in their culture on how they interact and see us differently and negatively, and could excuse their business practices amongst us. Which leads us, Elder Lawyer, to when I say the business of being an Israelite, it's time that we do, and time that we sit down with the people who have the I would say, the tangibles to do this, and the means and the resources, because we do have a lot of brothers who are in positions that can actually change things. We need to do actual documentaries based on some of the records that I have in Cambridge, with real life stories of our slavery and how the majority of the pastors before the AME church was paid and established as educated house Negroes, which is no different than the
Any questions should
HBCUs
remain
today.
about Sanger's racist agenda, a 1939 letter she wrote to Dr. Clarence Gamble should remove all doubt.
We should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities. The most successful educational approach to the Negro is through a religious appeal. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And the minister is a man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members.
Today, to steer that narrative from blacks being Hebrews. It was the AME church who was paid by the power structure to rebrand Christianity for blacks in America.